Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Keith Armstrong. I'm along with
Uncle Spoke.
And John and Marge's middle son, Damon.
welcome to today's episode, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome, welcome.
Uh, we are we are in the middle of rebuilding our brand, meaning we get ready to get used to making millions. So I hope that you guys ride with us, drive with us, and if you're a guest, we'll give you a little piece of it. But today's been I'll say this week, it's been a very eventful week for me, gentlemen. And really, they've been all good things. But with the good, the tedium mixed in, if you're not careful, you don't appreciate the good that's happening. Feel me? See, I just, and really, I'm going to leave that right there because I feel blessed. I feel good. You know what I mean? And damn, I'm happy to be here.
Hey, bro. At the beginning of your statement, man, you had me intrigued like a motherfucker, boy. You know what I'm saying? What's going on, man? I mean, what's happening in your life, brother? Talk to us.
I get it. I get it. But, I always got to hit a little soliloquy before we start doing anything, bro.
Right, right.
We've been doing this for 3 years, and what it is to grab on for the future. A sound bite. If somebody want to clip that, you're welcome to it, but give us the credit. All right, well, Damon, how was your day today, bro?
My day, man, was good, man. My mind was like running all over the place. All the stuff that's happening in the news, man. One of the things that's happening in the news, man, be having the brothers like, wow, man, this is actually going on, man. It's a whole lot of stuff happening, bro. And I'm trying to figure out the key or the trick is to not allow that crazy stuff to affect my life, man.
Oh yeah.
And that's something you have to actually think about, bro, on a daily basis now in these times.
Okay. Jaquari, how was your day today, bro?
My day was groovy, man. Groovy. Hey, cuz, what's going on? My day was groovy, man. I was off today, man, and I got a opportunity to sit around and watch some freaking, what they call it, all the streaming channels and shit, man, and I had a pretty good time, man, just watching TV, man. I was watching old samurai movies and shit, man, just reminiscing about, days of old. All that,
Hey,
man.
did you see any Jackie Chan?
It's Jackie Chan, Sonny Sheba.
Yeah, I meant to say Sonny Sheba. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah, what's his name? I forget his name, but he had a series of movies with the baby in the carriage, Wolf and Cub.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I forget his name. Yeah, but I mean that mean you talk about some cowboy motherfuckers, boy. I mean they was like, hey, look, did not fuck around, man. And apparently, if you believe the movies and shit, there was very little cowardice in feudal Japan because
my man, I'm sorry, give us 30 more seconds, bro. And you can have at it. But go ahead.
Okay, because they was pulling their swords and just whacking and chopping at each other, man. It was really like that. Then shit, I'm glad things changed. I'm glad I can talk shit out with a motherfucker nowadays.
Right.
That's the end.
And you didn't even get to the end.
And he got it under 30 seconds too.
Yeah.
Yeah. He threw everything in the wrong end of that 30 seconds. But yeah, you know what, man? Just to your point, quickly. That's all
you don't get to make a point off my point.
No, you know how you said You know how you said that
Shoot.
you was intrigued by how they was hacking away? That's really all they had. You know what I'm saying? Especially in feudal Japan where they depended on the katana. You know what I'm saying? To make it as sharp as possible to hack through bones and you know what I mean? Like
Lord have mercy, man. Can you
oh,
imagine getting stabbed,
that's
man? Ain't nowhere near. I'd rather get shot than stabbed, bro. For real.
brutal, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, it is what it is, though. Let's do this, man. And it's really taking a little bit from the pivot with Ryan Clark and them guys, man. You know, we've been on here, and I don't think I ever asked you guys, even though we talk off camera, and feel free to share as little or as much as you want. But what I'm trying to do is our listeners, when you're watching us, I'm encourage you to throw something in the chat and we put it on the screen how you feel about these things. But how are you, brothers? I mean, seriously, you know, I'm not accepting okay, right? And that's the only stipulation. And like I said, feel free to volunteer as little or as much as you want. But how are y'all doing? And we'll start with you, Dave.
I'm doing well, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm optimistic about the future. I mean, with all the turbulence happening in the world, man, I am, for the first time in a long time, focused on all my energies on my vicinity, man. You know, and with all this stuff that's happening, man, we as a personal family, my immediate family, we've grown closer, man, with each other. You know, and I wouldn't categorize it as a distraction, but the everyday activities we have with each other is what I focus on, man. And you know, it makes me optimistic. You
Okay?
know, so I'm in a good place. You know what I'm saying? I feel blessed in that regard, to be honest with you.
Glad to hear that. Jaquari, how are you?
Well, I'm even.
Okay.
Been even for quite some time. Doing the best I can to enjoy the positive and do the work to understand the negative. You know, because it's just inevitable that you're going to have to live through both conditions. You know, just because I might perceive something to be negative on Monday, by the time Thursday comes, you know, I'll have massaged my mental into being able to accept it and move on.
Okay.
And as long as I can, you know, be able to do that, I'll be good. But yeah, I'm even.
Okay. Uh, I myself, and you know, take a look on the screen because I believe Lori would like to add something. So feel free, Lori. But in the meantime, how am I? I am understanding that the majority of my power I've always had in my hand. What I realized, and it had to do with maturity, what I realized what I was doing is waiting for that final piece that may or may not ever come. You feel what I'm saying? Just to use my power. I'm talking about the power of spirit, power of physical, emotional, spiritual, the power. Because what that power, when I utilize that power, what it does is it minimizes the anxiety, it minimizes stress. Because even though you may not know where you're going, you know you have more control of where you're going.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I mean that. Um, Nikki asked the question: do you think a woman should buy her husband, partner, kids a Father's Day gift for Father's Day? I'll give my opinion first. Why not? Now, I think Father's Day is designed for the children, but it ain't nothing wrong with the wife showing her appreciation of her husband being a father. That's my opinion on it. Anybody else?
Now the Father's Day is coming up. I'm gonna be selfish in that regard, bro. Yeah, I want the gifts. I want the peace of mind. I want the opportunity, man, to what I'm saying, be of myself and about myself. Absolutely, all that.
So it's all about not. I mean, you accept the gift, but what it really is about the show of appreciation. There.
I appreciate the gifts. Absolutely, you know what I'm saying. But that's more. You know what I'm saying. That might be easy. You know what I'm saying. I'm not trying to offend anybody. But I'm saying that might be the easy way to go. You know what I'm saying? Because you could do that and expect the gratitude and everything else after that. But if you was to do a survey and ask most men, what you think they would ask for on Father's Day? You know what I'm saying?
I don't ask for anything, but go ahead.
Right. It's okay. I mean, every day is Father's Day, man. You know what I'm saying? And
Are
I
you?
mean that in a literal sense. Every day is Father's Day. So when that day comes, most guys be saying, okay, what am I supposed to do? Um, be in this ceremony or just okay, man. Day by day, I'm gonna watch. I recorded all these games, and I'm gonna watch these joints for all day long.
I,
That might suffice for brother, man. To be honest with you.
I see you getting symbolically philosophical. You know what I'm saying? Married
Wow.
Father's Day, my man.
I'm gonna have to rewind that and watch that, man.
Jaquan.
What's up, bro?
Yeah, ultimately, man, I think it's a beautiful thing for a wife to acknowledge her husband or baby father or partner on Father's Day. Acknowledgement from anybody, that close to you at any time is a beautiful thing. I mean, uh, but in both instances, Mother's Day and Father's Day, I think, it not necessarily carries a lot more weight, but you want to hear those words from the child or your child or whatever. I mean, and I'm not saying that when your wife says it or does something for you, it's no less precious. I'm not saying that at all. It's along the lines of what Damon was saying. The overall acknowledgement. But sometimes as fathers, sometimes as parents, we don't hit the mark, and people don't always feel that you're deserving of that, and that's something that definitely needs to be acknowledged. It's a sensitive subject or whatever, but
Yeah,
I definitely appreciate where it was coming from when she asked that question.
yeah. Okay. Well, let me address these two things, and then I want you guys to follow up if you need to follow up. Marcus Smith says, playing devil's advocate. Don't women expect gifts on Mother's Day from their husbands or partners? And I think yes. I mean, my experience. You know what I'm saying? I talked to someone who kids love them very much, right? And I asked him, "Well, what your wife do for you? Did she cook your breakfast? Did she?" He said, "Man, I have no expectation at all when it comes to my wife because it's Father's Day. So if I treat my kids the right way, they will at least call me and tell me that they love me. I said, I feel that. You know what I'm saying? I feel that. Marcus, it's a good point, especially if that's where your mind is, if you how you feel, especially if your wife will be drugged. I pulled out the old school joint on y'all. If your wife is drugged because you ain't give her a gift on Mother's Day. Talk about the husband. You know what I'm saying? You know, this next one, Tiffany LaFloria. What's up, cuz? If it's done for mothers, why not fathers? Most are worthy of the acknowledgement and love. Again, that makes sense. It really does. Um, what I'll do is I'm gonna bring Lori up, and then I want you guys, if you need to follow up, then we'll follow up. If not, we'll move on. Great comment, Marcus and Tiffany. Great comments. Lori says, if you have grown kids, wouldn't you expect gifts from them? Men give baby mamas gifts on Mother's Day because pregnancy and childbirth is worth being recognized annually. I mean, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Anything, Damon Jaquari?
Positionally, man, I agree with her. That's when biology comes into play. I mean, I don't have any natural children of my own.
Uh-huh.
So for me to have that expectation, even if I did in the past or whatever, through what I've learned, you know, since then, I essentially I have what I have. I have what I have, and I didn't I didn't do any of the things that I done, for that recognition. You know, even as I said before, if I had an expectation as the air quotes father or whatever, that those things would be done. I don't know that I had a right to those things. So therefore, I don't dwell on them. I don't dwell on them. I don't. Reality is a motherfucker. The real essence of the situation, when you boil it down, and understand that other people's motivations in that situation are just as important as yours. And you gotta stand on the space that is provided to you, and to move from that space is an encroachment. And if you encroach too far, then there's consequences to it. That's the harsh reality.
Gotcha.
For me, man, it all depends on each person, in that relationship, man. But for me, if I'm being honest with myself, if I go all out on Mother's Day and then on Father's Day there's silence or whisper, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna feel a certain way about that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not real specific about what I'm expecting, but acknowledgement, you know what I'm saying, will go a long way. You see what I'm saying?
I got you.
That would go a long way, because if somebody would ask me, well, what do you want for Father's Day? You know what I'm saying? I'm not thinking about material things. I'm thinking about, you know what I'm saying, times and spaces where I can be in my own thought, or I can relax. You know what I'm saying? I get more value from that than what you give me materially or whatever. That's just my thinking. You know what I'm saying? But if there's no real true transaction there in terms of monetarily and emotionally, there's no real true interaction there, and one person feels slighted, then that's going to be a problem, man. You know, and you have to be honest about recognizing if somebody feels slighted or whatever,
So,
you know.
is that what level you are maturity wise, Damon, or is it?
The level I'm at is that I want people to, you know, I'm a caregiver, so I want you to take care of yourself, and that would give me peace of mind. That's where I'm at with things, you know. But if I didn't get anything, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna sit up here and lie to myself and say I'm not gonna be thinking, damn, what's the problem? You know what I'm saying? I didn't get a call, I didn't get anything. Of course I would feel a certain way about that, even though I don't expect anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, you can kind of try to figure that out or, you know, serve through it or whatever. But for me, when I'm thinking about it in real time, if I didn't get a call, I'm gonna have feelings about that, bro. For
Right.
real, you know, real talk.
I think we all would. You know what I mean? I think we all would, and I think, and both of y'all know me, and my family and friends who's watching know how I am. It's not going to get a lot of traction if you don't call me. You know what I'm saying? But it is a twinge of hurt feelings when it comes to that. You feel me? So since Father's Day is this Sunday, and we're talking about it, appreciate it, Nikki, and we're talking about it. This happened a couple years ago, maybe 1 or 2 years ago, and it resurfaced this time of year. I guess it does it every year, but scenario: Damon Jaquad and chat. Also, I need you to chime in on this. Also, the stepfather. If you're all familiar, there was a stepfather who raised a little girl since she was 4 months old. Raised her, gave her everything. Her father was sparsely in the picture, not not really in the picture, but she knew him. You feel what I'm saying? She had a lot of love for him, but this in this picture, right? And the young lady, I forget it, whether or not it's high school or college. Young, no, it's a wedding. It's a wedding, as a matter of fact. The young lady, the stepfather paid for everything because he raised her as his daughter. He paid for everything, right? And the young lady, at the last minute, said that she wanted her biological father to walk her down the aisle. Now, this man, whether or not it was a skit or not, this man came on and felt some kind of way. He was hurt, right? He seemingly was hurt because he had sacrificed all this for this young lady. And he was mad at his wife, and he was mad at his daughter because they did not understand why he was upset about not being able to walk her down the aisle. Now, my question is, and that's in a nutshell. I'm sure if guys, if I've left something out, let me know. But that's in a nutshell. Now, this man made the decision that he wasn't going to pay for anything. He stopped payment on everything because he was going to pay for everything, right? He stopped payment on everything and had on his insurance, took off his insurance. He like this extra out of the situation because she was adamant and he felt betrayed. Damon, in your opinion, would you carefully, because I know you have an opinion about it, but as being as fair as possible, what do you think? That's what it is. I don't want you to tell me. I don't want you to tell me whether you're right or wrong. I want you to give, before you say whether you're right or wrong, give me what you see.
What I see,
Yeah.
what I see is that the young lady is hyper emotional. She's dealing with one situation, and not really paying attention to the other situation because she's used to that other situation which she grew up under, always coming through, always making it happen. You know what I'm saying? So she focuses on this whole other emotional thing. So I'm not going to say she wrong, but the father, that's the real true father, he's wrong. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, I'm struck. There's no shame in that, man. You're not shamed to stand in that position when you know you wasn't that guy. And we're just talking about material stuff. We're talking about a wedding and all that comes with it. But what about all the other stuff, man? Raising a young lady. You know what I'm saying? That is something that you have to really be focused in on, bro. You just can't be that person who, you know what I'm saying? You have to be focused in on, trying to raise a young lady. I raised two, so I have some idea of it. And that trumps all whatever happened at the wedding. I don't care if it was $40,000. You know what I'm saying? So I can understand his pain, his hurt and disappointment in it. And betrayal.
Okay.
And betrayal. You know what I'm saying? So I'm on the stepdad side in that regard, man.
Okay. Jaquari, what do you think?
I think, man, yeah, depending on what phase of this scenario you may be in, it sounds fucked up on the stepdaughter's part. But there's so many circumstances that were probably left out of that story, man. Yeah, her real dad wasn't around, and there's no telling what kind of turmoil was going on between them as the in-house parents was raising this young lady, and she's trying to deal with the child, or with the father rather. I mean, you take that into consideration, man. But you know, as I said, ultimately, man, depending on what phase you are in that scenario, man, of course you're going to be hurt as a stepfather in the beginning, because as a parent period, man, there are certain rites of passage that you believe that you'll be able to experience, you know within the confines of raising a child. The graduations, man, weddings, and so on, babies, and or so on and so forth. But as a step parent, man, you really don't have any security in that situation. You don't have any security in that situation, and whether you guys are on good or bad terms, you know, this young lady still has her own mind and a plan as to how she wants to live her life. Now, as a step parent, uh, you can harbor those feelings and express those feelings, and potentially cut yourself off from a person who you had a very heavy hand in developing, or you could do do things for her. Now when he he was tasked himself for paying for the wedding, that was supposed to be for her, no matter what the situation. Didn't have any parameters on it at the time. He didn't say, yeah, well, I'm going to pay for this as long as I'm guaranteed to be the one to walk you down the aisle. That wasn't even discussed. I mean, and I'm not taking any weight off of this man's feeling and his sentiment towards this young lady and the situation or whatever, because it has value to him. My point is, just because it has value to him in that situation doesn't necessarily mean that she's seen it the same way. And when she, seen an opportunity for her to have happiness, fairy tale happiness on her most important day, she went and she got it.
Gotcha. I'll be honest with you. I am on the side of the stepfather in the sense that his hurt that he felt, right? But his knee jerk reaction to it, and he has every right to be this way, but it was very immature. Even though you get caught up in the fervor of it. Like, shit, you right, man, fuck that. La, 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 la. You know what I mean? On that rah-rah, because this is what he was. He was on that rah-rah. You know, I did this, I did that, and da-da-da-da-da, right? But just like one of you guys said, I think it was you or Damon Jaquari, said, did you do that so you can get a place down that aisle, or did you do that because it was in your heart to do? Did you raise her and provide for her because it was your heart and you loved her? So what are you, and like I said, I'm not saying he's wrong for doing it because that's his money, that's his life, that's his feelings. What are you going to prove by taking it all away? You feel what I'm saying?
Especially at the last minute like that. Like
At the last minute. Now, the funny thing is, if you live your life as a petty human being, which we all are at one time or another, this shit is satisfying. But see, my thing is, do not do this if you staying with the mama.
you can't.
You can't.
You can't do it.
You can't do it if you really gonna stay with the mom and really which one of you guys say the alienation? You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, if you gonna still be around, now if you leave and you did the what they call the scorched earth technique and burn everything.
The salt the earth and shit.
Yeah, that's on you.
Yeah. But I mean, I seen the clip that you're referencing or whatever, and he said that he put them both out.
Oh, so he did put them out there.
He put them out. Yes, he did.
You know what I think? Why I did? I finished. I was watching it. You're right, because I hadn't seen it in a while. Somebody just brought it up. This conversation, but it's his wife's reaction that made him angry.
Here's the thing, man. You know, and if you just look at it for what it is, that's he's dealing with anguish, man. You know what I'm saying? People act in crazy ways, man, dealing with anguish, man, hurt, pain, you know, that pain. Not saying he right. You know what I'm saying? But I understand. You feel what I'm saying? And then to come to the conclusion that, you know what, I'm still going to let it ride and let this happen and all that stuff. Okay, if you come to that conclusion, you come to that conclusion because you felt it in your heart to be that, not because you think your wife going to be mad at you and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because all that's going to do is breed other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Then the nitpicking coming in and then all the drama. You know what I'm saying? So you want, so he has to take the position to stand strong, even if he's feeling all this anguish. You know what I'm saying? Where is he gonna get his reconciliation at?
I get it.
You know what I'm saying? Where's that gonna come? So he dealt with his anguish and his pain and his hurt, and he took everything away because he felt everything was taken away from him.
When you speak about when you speak about, you know, him taking things away, I mean it sort of becomes a character flaw issue because, okay, once you know, claim to love somebody and you out of anger you use the words after all I've done, those 4 words.
Mm-hmm.
It absolutely negates everything that you've done, and you paint yourself in that corner because the next question that's going to be shot your way is, so you did everything for some sort of payoff.
I feel or being petty, Jaquari. I think you should add that in there because the payoff thing is he assumed this was gonna go on anyway. So it wasn't like, yo, I'm gonna do this because she gonna walk me down the aisle. No, he went off the assumption, no, I'm here. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You
yeah, but
know,
it boils down to the fact though, man. That if you want those traditions, man, to reinforce and celebrate, then you got to have your own children. That's what it
I
boils
get
down to.
that, but then, there ain't no guarantee with your own children. But yeah, it's a great point, Jaquan. Now I want you to read this. I put this up there for you.
I don't need it to be with me, brother. I'm good.
No, I ain't say, bro. I ain't say that. You know,
Deja's husband asked Jaquari's permission to marry Deja. Jaquari paid the wedding and walked her down the aisle. He even has her third baby named after her. Yeah, you can take that down, bro.
I mean, but that's the whole point, though. And what it,
The point is, man, that things happen, and
yeah, yeah, of course.
as far as any hard feelings I may have had, I believe I've worked through. I've worked through the best that I could,
Hmm.
and it is what it is. But the door is always open. It's always open.
Yeah. And then, like I said, see, here's the thing. Here we are expressing opinion, right? Now, Damon dropped off because of the old man fumble fingers, but he'll be back. But we're here to express opinions, and through the chat and through the three of us, we just express how we feel because that's what people need to hear. You feel what I'm saying? It's about full expression. It's about all those different things that's going on. You back, bro. So,
Disappeared for a while, but I'm back, y'all.
Here we go.
but the point is, I think, okay, just to we're gonna tie this in a knot. To be a good mother, in your opinion, guys, to be a good mother and a good father. Let's just break it down to two things, and I want you to address both, in your opinion. Two things you think would make a good mother and a good father. Not a good parent, but a good mother and good father, in your opinion.
Okay, now, just for clarification, man, did she deny the stepfather and say, "I want my real daddy to walk me down the aisle"?
Yes, yes,
That's what
Hmm.
she did.
that's what you did.
So okay, now the onus is on her, man. The onus is on her because she could have had both of them walk down the aisle.
Immature and petty. She had her vision.
The onus is on her. So she created that. You know what I'm saying? I guess the stepdad was trying to match the energy. You know what I'm saying? Because of his anguish.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a difficult thing, man. But you have to address everybody's pain and hurt. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
You
look,
have to. You,
whether or not it's not the full answer, it is kind of an easy answer to do. Some folks in the chat and you guys said it. Well, folks in the chat said they could have both walked down the aisle with her. You know what I'm saying? But the young lady wanted it the way she wanted it, and like I said, really where the anger, and you can help me out with this, required. The anger really came about that his wife co-signed. That's where the anger came about, and that's where his reaction, what he did, and how he did it, because the wife co-signed that whole situation.
that's heavy, man. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro.
And
That's heavy.
that's why I thought it was, to me, in my mind, I thought it was a skit, to be honest with you. Folks have seen it. Give me your opinion. Do you think it was a skit? You know what I mean? But it is what it is. All right, I want you guys, I want to hear you guys, man. And people in the chat, please let me know. Give me two things, in your opinion, makes a good mother and a good father. We'll start with you, Jaquari, this time.
Well,
Again,
I mean,
you need time, but
two things that make a good father is truth and room for the child to expand, try to figure things out. Because as parents, we're not always right. The way we go about taking care of business. I mean, it's some innovation that's always better than how we showed our kids. But truth is probably the most important thing. I mean, no matter how much it bothers you to say it, you can pretty much guarantee that it's probably bothersome for them to hear it.
so is that for both mother and father?
Mothers, motherhood is just as complex and tricky as fatherhood is. I mean, I couldn't begin to talk about motherhood.
I mean, okay, you can take it from your reference. I mean, what you felt as a child. I mean, like I said, this is just your opinion. This is nothing set in stone. Just I want to hear your.
My opinion on motherhood is, I mean, it's as sacred a job as we like to make it out to be. I mean, it's gritty. Motherhood is gritty. It's complicated. It's so many things that they have to navigate. With our help as fathers. And a lot of times, even when we feel like we're hitting on all cylinders, things get fucked up in translation.
Yeah, okay, okay, Damon.
I think, man, it's the job of both to come to an understanding that they want to be together. You know what I'm saying? Hey, this is a commitment we're going to make. You know what I'm saying? With each other, we're going to be together. Kids come into the picture. We had an understanding that we're going to work this out. I mean, shit happens in relationships, man, in marriages. You know what I'm saying? But what keeps it steady and strong with the understanding that if you took a vow that you made a commitment, whatever comes with that, both of y'all together can work that shit out. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't have that commitment in the very beginning, what's the point, man? It's futile. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to be focusing on the reasons why you don't want to be with this person. You know what I'm saying? What kind of relationship is that?
Okay, okay. So my opinion about it is this is obviously a loaded question. Probably why I asked because there is no right or wrong to this. It has a lot to do with the people and how they experience things. You know what I'm saying? So my point of view when it comes to a mother is love, the energy of love. Okay, the energy of love when it comes to the boy and the girl. Are they able to feel that radiate from her? Right? And I'm keeping it simple. When it comes to the father, stability and safety. Now, there's many other things and many other layers to this. Okay, but when I say I want to add one, it's stability and safety. Where you look at your father, and the first thing you see is you feel safe because of his strength, not in the way that he, declare it. I'm this, I'm that, I'm so and so. You know what I'm saying? Not the way he declares it, but the way he stands 10 toes down through everything, through happiness, through sadness, through ups and downs. You know what I'm saying? Um, just keeping it simple. You know, and I've been putting up different things that different guys are saying and young ladies are saying. You know, Lori said, as a team, open mindedness and a commitment not to undermine each other.
Right.
And Marcus was on it earlier. He said, love and understanding from both parents. Tiffany said, honesty and discipline. Honesty and discipline. Malika was guidance and being present. Another and Tiffany also uh, commented on commitment and loyalty. You know what I'm saying? Um, every one of them are fantastic points, man. And I want to point out that I want to point out that these are the many layers of everyone's opinion about what's going on. I continue to pray for you, Tiffany. Fantastic,
Hey, keep doing your thing, Cuzzo. Keep
yes,
doing your thing.
no doubt, no doubt. Um, when we were younger, and I'm talking about, I'm speaking on. I say this all the time. I'm the last of the baby boomers, and you guys are Gen X, right? If I'm not mistaken. But in your opinion, looking at your neighborhood now and the neighborhoods when you grew up in, are they the same, or do you see a difference?
My neighborhood now, man, is pretty much the same as the one we grew up in, outside of the fact of the different nationalities. So it's a lot more. My neighborhood's a lot more diverse. But as far as like the summers when kids are like walking down the street, in the middle of the street, at the playground, at the basketball court, it's like that. You know, this is it's it's fairly quiet around here. You
Okay.
know, it's you know we're I'm located close to a high school. We don't get a lot of we don't well I don't perceive it to be a high crime area or moderate crime area, whatever. We don't get a lot of exposure to what goes on in the actual city of where I am. But it's like, yeah, it's we don't experience a lot. There's no vandalism. I mean, it's not, it's nice. It's quiet the way I grew up or whatever. And there's kids all over the place. Good kids, good kids, respectful of every, like I said, nationality, man. My thing is, my neighbors. I don't really know my neighbors since I moved to, Virginia. I haven't had a good relationship. Not like the relationships that we had, growing up in Ainsworth.
Okay.
You know, being people who homeowners or whatever. In the midst of renters all over the place. I mean, I don't know how much that factors in, but yeah, I don't know my neighbors. And haven't, but there haven't been any issues. So you know,
Okay. Damon.
Well, growing up, man, hell, you knew everybody, and everybody interacted into your life, man. Friends and family, and it was a community. Now I'm acquainted with my neighbors, but we don't go to each other's house and stuff like that. And, we live down in the cul-de-sac, so my kids didn't really have a bunch of kids around them, so it's vastly different, man, than how I was raised. You know.
Okay.
It was, it was more of an effort to go out and find the connection instead of the connection being in your proximity. You know what I'm saying?
I think me mostly, and a lot has to do with me and the majority of my white kid is where we live. You guys know where we live, right? We knew and still know a lot of the people living around us, right? So, in that aspect, when I see them on the street, we have conversation. When the neighbors walking through, doing their little mile, the miles walk and stuff, we say, "Hey, how you doing?" We speak all of that. So, in that sense, it's the same. It's the same, which I feel blessed because a lot of places is not like that anymore. You know, because a lot of places it's transient. You know what I mean? I feel blessed. I feel blessed. Just to know the people around.
Most
You know,
most of y'all have transplants, ain't you?
that's true. That's true. But it's some North Carolina. Some people from North Carolina around, and we get to know them, and my white kid tell me I'm an ogre. No, this people afraid to talk to me. As soon as they say hello, then I open up to them. I'll speak. You know what I'm saying? But being 6'9", over 300 pounds, yo, you got to have a gigantic constitution to just actual conversation with me. No, no, no.
You
I'm
are
sorry. After I
you are
after
kind of menacing, bro.
no, after I retired though, because when my when my work vehicle was in front of the house, bro, I had people knocking on the door. Boo, 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 boo. Hey, I got a squirrel up in this tree, man.
You like, but do we got a pistol?
You know what I'm
did
saying?
it did it
Is he
shut down, bro?
So, so
is he armed?
I
If
was
he
a
ain't armed,
I was a deputy sheriff, right? But they knocking on the door. Hey, Mr. Sheriff, how you doing? Hey, listen, my neighbor, my neighbor, uh, he be cutting his grass too low, and it don't go here
Man,
my lawn. I'm looking at it like, well, so
all
what I
right,
need
bro.
from you,
Hey, hey, Key, you gonna have to tell us a story, bro, man.
No, 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 we good, we good. I'll do that. I'll do that some other time because, like I said,
That's some TikTok shit right there, boy.
it's some good people. We're blessed, man. I'm sorry to say, a lot of people don't get that blessing like that. You feel what I'm saying? Because it's like, um, is it an old school mentality? Maybe. You know what I mean? And Malika, you said nope earlier. Can you give us a little bit of more context on why you say nope? But
You went way off.
I'm gonna tell you the thing about it is, when it came down to my oldest son, he grew up around 11 guys. They all was a year apart from each other. So he had the greatest experience anybody could possibly, because I never was quiet, but they was all sports oriented kids, and you know what I'm saying. My youngest kid, COVID got to him, meaning he didn't get a chance, and he's starting to do that now. He didn't get a chance to meet all the young kids in the neighborhood. You feel what I'm saying? And COVID, that's because of COVID, man. You know, but I digress. We just go from there. All right, Tiffany. Lord, no, I grew up in a small town, mostly in the country. No, in I live in a metropolitan area with a high rate of crime. I'm sorry to hear that, cuz. I told Ava stories about going outside to play with for hours and our parents didn't worry about because all the parents knew one another and watched over the kids, which is true. I can't allow her to go out to a friend's house because the parents act. as bad, it's not worse than the kids. The world is nowhere close to being safe these days. And it's true. I mean, especially it depends on where you live at. You know what I'm saying? Especially on where you live. You know, we look, you know, we praying for you, cuz, you know, Malika, you asked if my neighborhood felt the same as it did when I was growing up. I answered no. Yeah, that's what I was saying. You know, can you elaborate a little bit? You know, because we kind of know, but you know, just share. You know, share as much and as little as you want. All right. I really want you guys, unless you have something, I have something I want to ask you and ask the chat. Guys, have anything? Damon?
Don't.
I was thinking, man. Okay, you asked that question. I know you're trying to move on, but you asked that question. Where does the fault lie, man? You know what I'm saying? Because if you think about it, if you come from that era where there was community, you communicated with people, you had friends, you had neighbors that you communicated with, whatever. If you're not doing that now, do the onus lie on you? You know what I'm saying? Are you teaching that with your kids? You know what I'm saying? If you isolating yourself, then they're gonna be the same way.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, but
You know
you
what I'm
know,
saying?
it makes sense.
Because if you think about it, out of the three of us, we know people that we saw grow up and their kids grow up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And know them personally and their kids. You say, how did we get to the point where it's not like that? And we wondering why. It's like that because we didn't do our part. You know what I'm saying? We didn't play that position, is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? It don't take nothing to go up to your neighbor and say, hey man, how you doing, man? Hey, welcome to the neighborhood, yada yada yada. It's either gonna be friendly or it's not. Then you know where you stand. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
But I'm just talking about the effort. That's what I'm saying.
Well, my situation is not from lack of trying. I mean, I spoke to him or whatever. Because I mean, I've had on one side of me, I've had several neighbors, move in and out, renting or whatever. But on the other side, those people have been a little more, stable there. And yeah, I spoke to him or whatever, but you only have to not speak back to me like a couple of times in
Right.
order for me to give you your distance. I mean, it ain't no hard feelings, but because you in your home, I can't dictate, how you go in your home. But like I said, it's not from lack of trying.
Okay. Um, Let me ask this question. How do you want to be seen? In chat, I want you to answer this also. How do you want to be seen by other people? And I'm not talking about in the grand scheme of things. I'm talking about the way you carry yourself. How do you want that to relate to other people?
For me, comfort. I'm all about comfort, man. I'm all about being easygoing. Because I mean, in my opinion, man, I can't be any more false than when I'm aggressively trying to guide an interaction or a situation. It's just not me. I don't prepare for conflict. I address it as it comes, and not necessarily devil may care, but shit. When I leave my door in the morning, shit, I'm ready for everything. The good and the bad. and trying to figure out a way to move past it. So as far as image, man, shit. I mean, if I try to do something, then it's gonna look manufactured. So I stopped trying to be shit a long time ago.
A field manufacturer. I feel that. I feel that.
And I'm not struggling with that, but I think if it comes off as manufactured, so what? You know what I'm saying? I mean that's something that you conscious of, but if you're being respectful and all that stuff and cordial and you being a person of the community, you know what I'm saying? A person is gonna decide whether or not you're being phony or not on their own accord. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, just playing the part, speaking, opening, holding the door for a person, whatever. That's just,
But yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
respect is my
Right.
default.
But that doesn't diminish you though.
It doesn't.
Of course.
Yeah.
But like I said, the question,
I hope that wasn't the way you framed it.
the question is, how do you want? And want is a strong word because really this is a light question. How do you, how would you like to be perceived? And Ja'Cory answered it. So what is your answer, Damon?
How do I like to be perceived as a superstar, man, with a bank full of money? The coolest cat on earth, man. Of course I want to be liked. You know, I want to be liked, but I don't want to be. I don't want to be foolish in that. In regards of, if I say, "Hey, what's happening, brother?" Walking past and they don't speak and they mean mug me. You know what I'm saying? That ain't gonna diminish me or make me weak because I spoke. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be me. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be me, and I'm gonna be how I was raised, and I'm gonna have the respectability. You know what I'm saying? Respect my humanity, and I'm gonna respect yours. You know what I'm saying? See me as a human being, as somebody that deserves to be respected. That's how I want to be seen.
Okay.
I remember an interaction I had with a young lady at work once, and we were talking or whatever, and had a pretty good conversation. Because up to that point, I'd never really spoken to her. Hi, bye, or whatever. But she was in my office one day, so I decided, what the hell. And she, told me, it struck her as strange that she had never seen me. I've never seen you smile, strong. And I looked at her and I said, "Well, you never made me laugh." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't ever read a book by its cover. Open the pages.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and then I think that I was overly because of the time that we grew up in. I was overly aware of how I want people to perceive me, right? And I think it was just for self-preservation and trying to move and maneuver through life. But then I got to the point, and I know you guys, if you thought hard enough, you saw when I changed, where it got to the point like, hey, this is too much fucking work. Because one thing that I understood that people, if they're not gonna like you, it's not because something that you did. It is something that they decided. Feel me? So if it wasn't instantaneous, it was the small things so they can hop on that ride. So my percep how I want people to perceive me is me walking step by step, word for word, so you'll understand where I'm coming from and where I'm walking to. Not getting overly, you know what I'm saying? Because I have always understood, man, and I'm gonna reiterate this. People are gonna have their freaking opinion about you, man, and you'll be like, "Yo, man, why the fuck? Where you get that from?" I've only had two sentences of conversations with you. You know what I mean? When I was in college, right? uh, young lady I thought was cute, had a little crush on, right? She destroyed it. You know why? Because she said to me, I didn't know how to approach you because you was walking around with a mean face all the time. And I looked at her along the lines what you said, Jacoy. I looked at her and said, "Oh, it wasn't a mean face. it, was, it was just a regular face.
It was a face. That's
It
all
was
it
that's
was.
all it was. You
Yeah.
know, but the thing about it is, I understand, and I say that before this third time saying it. People will form their opinions from the beginning, and if they don't like you, they will look for a reason not to like you. That's it. You know, don't hurt my feelings. It don't do anything because what I learned how to do was live with myself. That is some. That's a beautiful way to feel, man. Believe me.
And and I don't know if it's just my self perception or whatever, man. But I've found that over the years, the more and more you try to get a person to like you, the less they will.
Yeah.
As a matter of
No,
fact,
no, no.
bro.
That's some real shit. That's some real shit.
Yeah.
Hey, before you
Right.
go, Damon, let me read this stuff first. Because these folks have said some beautiful things. Tiffany said, I carry myself as open and approachable, I live with integrity, try, and humility. I don't carry myself as artificial or superficial. I treat others with the same respect as I would expect from them. Whether they do or not show me who they are or what they are about. A spirituality is my character. You know, Lori says, she said, I want to be seen as an open minded, innovative, confident, assertive, brave person who has vulnerabilities and imperfections. Nikki, you described yourself to a fucking T. I see. This is my perception of you. And then Marcus says, Bernie Mac in the house party said it best. If people don't like you, like who you are, for who you are, fuck them. Fuck them. Up against the wall with handcuffs on. You wild, Marcus. I'm going to quit messing with you, bro. But final thing, Tiffany says, living up to expectations of others is exhausting. It took a long time for me to be free of people's approval and its feelings. Go ahead, Dan. I'm sorry. I just wanted to get that, get this people on
Hell,
that.
I forgot what I was going to say, but I just thought about something funny. You ever
Go ahead.
notice those old people, man, who don't have patience for shit?
Don't have,
And they don't have
don't have,
patience for anybody or anything.
I thought you said places for shit, but yeah, patience.
I said patience for shit.
Yeah, yeah.
And you listen to them, man, and they just tell you the truth. You know what I'm saying? Why are you expecting an answer? I didn't engage you. Why are you even talking to me right now? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's
You know,
that's
why?
that's a person who know they ain't got too much time left, man. They ain't got time to be fucking around.
They ain't trying to waste.
I mean, how close are you? How close are both of y'all, man, to that line of thinking? Like, man, why am I arguing about this bullshit?
quite, quite close.
I'm pretty close because it comes in spurts with me, but I'm real close to that, bro. For real.
I think yeah, in those times you got to be honest with people and tell them, hey, man, I was having a good day till you came up here with that bullshit, man.
Hmm.
I'm going to try to salvage my
Yeah.
day by walking away. I would appreciate if you don't follow and shit, and we'll pretend like this never happened.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I think, man, a lot of people are starting to get to that mindset, man. You know, why argue, man? What's the point in it? You
I,
know?
I don't I don't think anything's wrong with it. I think you know what I think it is. It's because the power of the entity that we're on right now, social media. People are really truly being overly saturated with giving their opinions. You know what I'm saying? Like here, no matter what. You know what I'm saying? And
People want to.
go ahead.
People want to feel. And sometimes, every now and then, a person want to feel like they're right about something, man.
That's
You know what
real.
I'm saying? They want to feel like they're right about something because of whatever they're going through, whatever the case may be. People want to stand on that hill, man, and argue. But you know what I'm saying? At some
I,
point, man, it becomes detrimental, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's
I,
like, why?
It,
I,
it,
I,
it,
go ahead, Jaquan.
I'm gonna say it doesn't take any. It doesn't take any way. It doesn't take anything from your rightness, man, for you just to let a motherfucker finish. That's what I think people want. Motherfuckers want
Yep.
an opportunity to finish.
Finish the point. You exactly right. You
I
exactly right, bro.
tell you when it comes to my youngest son, right? And I take the blame for it, but I don't because you know your kids watch. So when he and I have an interaction, and he's wrong. You understand what I'm saying to you? He's wrong. But he doesn't get, and I explain it to him every time. He don't get a reaction from me unless he cuts me off. You were too young in the game to cut a grown ass man off when you in the wrong. You know what I'm saying? And what I learned is I tell him, bro, my volume is high, and you see this scowl on my face because we are talking about something that you did wrong. But you in your heart want to cut me off and give me BS that don't matter. So he never understood that. So I said, I have not brought out the corporal punishment in a while. So let me reason with this young man. So he did it. He tried to cut me off. I said, stop. I want you to finish. Now, you know why we're talking about this thing. You know that I am talking to you about something that you did wrong or you didn't do. I want you to hold on to what you're about to say because you cut me off and you didn't know what I was going to do. You cut me off. Finish your statement. And I sat there and waited for him. He finished it. Had nothing to do with getting out of trouble. Had nothing to do. He tried to push the blame somewhere. I said, how did that help you? How the no, I'm like this. I'm like, how the fuck did that help you in this argument? You cut me off just to say that. I said, if you have something to say, I understand that. But if I'm chastising you, trying to figure out a way not to be corporal on your ass, and I'm trying to reason with you, don't you dare cut me off. Let me finish the sentence. Then you have carte blanche to say whatever the fuck you want to say. You know what I'm saying? See, that's my pet peeve. My child has, all my children has the room to express how they feel. They always have, right? But if you cut me off, because I don't cut you off, it's disrespectful that you cut me off because what you're trying to do is escape blame when it's already evident that you are to blame in this situation. You feel what I'm saying? That, I mean, that I was responding to what you said. But
That conversation could have went like, go ahead and say your point. Ah, no, go ahead and finish. Ah.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? You know what I mean?
That's how that conversation went, bro.
You know, think about it is what I've learned, and I've learned this from my parents. I'm not gonna belittle you because you have an opinion, right? But I'm gonna tell you when you're wrong.
Look, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, how mama used to do me. Oh, so you got a rebuttal. Well, go ahead, Mr. Fluky.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mr. Fluky.
Yeah.
Did she say, I'm listening? Okay, go ahead and finish. Okay, we can talk. We can speak on that. Oh, yeah, we really got to deal with that one. You know what I'm saying? She let me dig a hole so deep.
Cool.
I just my response is, well, why don't you just tell me what's going to happen, man? And,
Yeah.
and we can move on.
Eventually, I mean, if you let a person listen to themselves, they're gonna be like, well, fuck it then. You right.
I mean,
I'm not doing it to be right.
what our dad used to do. Tell me what you did wrong before I whoop your ass. And you sitting up there and you breaking it down. It's like, oh damn, well, I guess I would have whooped my ass too. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, kid, it was different for me. Okay, let's begin from episode 1, man, because I owe you that one. So you want to start with 1, or you want to go go up to 5? You know what I'm saying? You decide.
Yeah. All right. Anything else from you guys before we go to the last subject? Anything else? This is not really sports related. This is parenting related, right? Deion Sanders and his son, right? Look, to be honest with you, I'm not going down the rabbit hole of why he was drafted in the 5th round and all of this shit. You know what I'm saying? None of this, right? When it comes to Deion Sanders and the opportunities he offered his sons, do you feel he was right in it? And then I have something afterwards after you answer this shit.
You mean how he raised him?
The opportunities that he gave him, Jackson
Right,
State.
it throughout his life.
Yeah,
No, he wasn't wrong
I'm talking about.
at all.
I'm talking about football. I mean, of course he was rich, so he raised his son certain ways. All his children certain ways. I'm talking about football. The opportunities that he gave him. Was he wrong?
Me, honestly, bro, I probably would have done the same thing. If I could give my son the edge, you damn right, I'm gonna give him the edge, man. I mean, that's what everybody else do. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I would be remiss if I didn't say, okay, man, this is the opportunity where you can thrive, be successful, and handle this business. Yeah, hey, y'all back up. I'm gonna give my son an opportunity to prove himself. You damn right, I'm gonna give him that chance. And don't care about the thing. You know what I'm saying? Y'all do the same thing.
Yeah.
But you want to put this spotlight on me, please.
Jaquari,
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to think if I was in a position to provide opportunity for my children, I would have done the exact same thing. I mean, some things that
Damn right.
I couldn't even, see benefiting me in the moment. I would have established for them, you know, just to have as as they grew older. I would do that. Absolutely.
okay, so I agree with you guys. I would have done the same thing. I've done the same thing as far as putting both my sons in position to be around people to strive and them rub off on them, right? Talking sports wise. So when it comes to us as a community, why the hell is it the most scrutiny on whether or not we are exhibiting nepotism? Why is it on the black community that you wrong for doing this? In which we have found example after example after example of other communities exhibiting a lot of nepotism.
I can tell you what.
Why is that?
Because they see that's an edge. You know what I'm saying? And when they see us as a community, black folk, they see that's the competition. You know what I'm saying? That's the competition. So I'm gonna try to quell any type of advantage that they think they might have. You know what I'm saying, if you in a position where you can do that nepotism thing, then you accomplish a lot of shit, man. You know what I'm saying? You put yourself in a position where you can be that you have power. You feel what I'm saying? You have actual power. Hey man, I'm gonna get my nephew in this business. You know what I'm saying? In this corporation. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get my boy's son into this situation. My child. The list goes on. If you in that position where you can do that shit, and so what?
You're supposed to do that.
Right, right. If you don't like it, then compete. You know what I'm saying? Don't twist the game up. Don't make it. You know what I'm saying? Compete. That's all you got to do. Win and take all.
Okay. Corey, let me ask you a question. I want you to answer that question. But at the end, and Damon, you hop in on this. Who really gives the most scrutinies about in our community that gives it? Answer the first question, quiet, and then I'll ask the second one. So go ahead.
Okay, I mean, I think the thing that really needs to be considered is the scale of the prize. I mean, how many of our family members got jobs at the plant or whatever plant or whatever because of their parents. That's nepotism. Deion Sanders,
Yeah.
Ball was Levar Ball. They was working with millions. But I've always known people in our family, in our community, man, who was looking out for their own,
Like you're supposed to.
like you're supposed to.
As long as
You
you
know,
and
legacy,
don't sit on nobody, but you're supposed to
yeah,
help people out, man.
yeah. Legacy doesn't have a stopgap, and it doesn't have a scenario. If you have something to pass on, then that's what you do. I mean, negative traits get passed on all the time. You know, money can get passed on. Opportunity should be passed on.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I Are you done?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you why I asked the question. Because I rented a car this weekend to go to my friend Bruce's wedding, his first wedding. All right, Bruce Williams, Mr. and Mrs. Williams, congratulations. Right.
Congratulations.
I rented the place that I rented the car. It is a it is a what is it? Avis and I forget the other company, but it's a franchise, right? And it's this cat from I'm not sure. I'm not gonna say what country he's from, but he's an African guy. So I think he's from Ghana, if I'm not mistaken. But good dude, good businessman. You know what I'm saying? No nonsense, but friendly because he believe in making money. He want people to come back. So he and I were just chopping it up. I was turning keys in, chopping it up. I said, hey man, this is a franchise for you, isn't it? He said, yeah, man, it really is. I said, you've been doing this for a while. And I've at least known him been doing it for 10 years, right? So, yeah, man, okay. I said, so you get your children involved? He said, they don't want to do it. I said, for real? I said, that's surprising. You know what I mean? Because all you guys really have to do is deal with customer service. And he said, that's the problem. He said, this younger generation don't want to deal with the rude people. And he said, that's the price of doing business. And that was profound because he didn't say, oh, they get a pass because no, it's like, bro, this is something these people come in here every day. You have to have the thick skin.
It's
He
gonna
said,
happen.
I'm trying to get them. I think he has a number of children. I know he has a son and a daughter. I met them both. Right? He said he had more. He said, I'm trying to get them to come aboard because I'm getting older. And what that did, that showed me the example of, even though he's from the African continent, like one of the countries from over there, but it showed it was an example of black folks, period. Mom and pop stores. You feel what I'm saying? In the neighborhood, where the mother and father had these stores for years, but they get up there in years, because they train their children to, hey, I need you. I don't, I want you to do better. So I'm sending you to college. So they give these kids the mindset, okay, well, I'm going out. My dad and my mom sending me out into the world, right? But they have this business that's legacy in which they could commit to it at least to get it stable so they can still go out into the world, but they let these businesses go. And it's like, sometimes, man, you don't give yourself a fighting chance because of the conditioning that we as parents give and also what is projected on us. Like, say, if I had a store, mom and pop store, right? Grocery store. And my sons love that store. They're going to put everything they got into it and they're going to be there, right? But if I got them working in the summertime as they're growing up, right? And they have this wanderlust, what is the propensity for them to stay and try to keep it going?
I get that, Keith, but let me ask you this: did you talk about how he paid his kids? Because that's
Had
one thing.
factors.
That's one thing that
Let's
that
be
that that
fair, bro.
that.
Let's be fair now.
That's what I was thinking the same thing, bro.
Let's be
I mean,
fair.
I mean, if it's your child or not, you got to pay a man for his hard work. You
Right.
can't you can't
Bro,
have this expectation of just because you my kid and I'm putting food on the table through this business
yeah.
that you're going to be here for free. No, that
But,
doesn't that
but it,
doesn't hook up that doesn't motivate a person. That doesn't
Has to
hook.
be right. Has to be a reward, don't it, bro?
what
Yeah, especially for
the
work.
reward is the business.
Bro.
No, the business being passed down
The
to you.
reward is the business eventually.
Yes.
Right.
But if you don't
But
pay a
you'll go.
person now for the work that they do,
But
then
hold
they're
on. I'm sorry to cut you off. I apologize. I want to throw this in. But you'll go to a job and work 30 years and only get a pension.
because the job is paying you immediately.
I mean, that's a good point, but I don't know, man. I don't agree with that. But
Don't things have to be pointed out, man, in terms of the business aspects of it? Don't things have to be pointed out? Hey, because we work hard here, we can enjoy this over here. You have to make the connection, bro.
so let me ask you
So
this.
if you grow up privileged, you're not gonna appreciate it if it's given to you.
Okay, I'm glad you
So
said
I
that.
understand that aspect of what you're saying.
I'm glad
But
you said
there also has to be that reward at the end of it. Say, hey, man, this is the possibility. You teach the possibilities now. This is what it can become. But if you're just going through the motions, you're just like, hey, man, enjoy this. You know what I'm saying? As long as the business stay afloat, man, you're gonna have things. You know what I'm saying? You got to instill on them. Well, we got to keep that business afloat. We got to have ideas and whatever. That's why people put shit on sale. You know what I'm saying?
I get it. I get it. But see, here's the thing to it. It's like you are not seeing, you said privilege. So they are benefiting. And you also said have that conversation.
Right.
Like, you can make this, because you coming in, you and your sisters and your brothers and sisters coming in here and learning this shit and streamline it, you will not have to work hard, and you can get more franchises and blow the situation up. All you have to do is
But if
Take the time, right?
if I'm putting in hours side by side with my dad, and we both in the store, and we, from sun up to sundown or whatever, and I have to wait for something that could be, in the future. And we work 12-hour days, and then at the end of the night, I just go home,
Now,
and then
see,
come back, and then come back in the morning and do the same thing over and over again with no compensation.
no. What did I say that you jumped to the conclusion that they doing it for free?
No, I asked you. I didn't. I mean, you didn't say anything, but I
No,
asked.
no, because
I asked.
you have to assume that they getting something out of it, bro. They not just
Well,
going.
and that works both ways. You're assuming that they're getting something out of it without a windfall at the end of it, bro. You have
Look,
to have something. Like I said, you have to have that connective tissue, bro. It has to be there for them to say, okay, this makes sense.
so let me ask
Instead
you a
of
question.
saying, hey man, hey man, I know you want to hang out with your friends, but I need you to clean up this store before the next crowd come in the next day. You saying that has to make sense. Okay,
Why
the
would
store they're not gonna frequent the store if it's not clean. We're not gonna make money unless the joint is clean. So you associate the two. If you make it make sense, is my
so
point.
first of all, if you're a parent and you know this is the main income, it ain't about making it make sense to these children.
Yeah. So you basically saying because I said so, and that's supposed to suffice for them.
If this is paying for the house and the cars that you drive, why would I have to make sense about it? That's all I'm saying. That don't make sense to me.
Do I got my own cry?
But at what point?
What,
At what point? At what point do you have the discussion with them to tell them that that your livelihood is
okay.
somewhat their responsibility?
In all fairness, I assumed he had that conversation with him because he keeps saying, I'm trying to get them to
Okay.
come in and work this because I'm trying to keep it going for the family. So I might have jumped to conclusion, but through that bit right there, it let me know, that maybe what he's trying to do is keep it there for them. You know what I'm saying?
And
That's
I
all
get
I'm
that,
saying.
and I didn't. I simply asked you if you had a conversation about whether he compensated them or not.
But
That's what I asked.
and then I
And my,
didn't answer it. I didn't answer it because I couldn't. I didn't have
yeah,
that
yeah,
conversation.
yeah, yeah. But my overall point is, whether they get that situation handed down to them or not, they need present current motivation outside of this is how we eat. Come on, man.
Come on, bro. Think about what you're saying. And you think I'm
But
trying to?
how do you instill money management into a situation like that, man? How can you teach a child how to manage his money when you don't pay him?
Why you?
When you as the parent don't show them proper compensation. How do you do that?
What you're doing is you're assuming he's not paying them.
No, I'm
I
just speaking
never
But
on.
said.
Key, with,
I just told you.
Key,
Hold on for a
I'm just speaking on a
No,
scenario.
is that your scenario?
yeah, but you speculating a lot too, Keith.
No, I'm not. I didn't speculate. What Jaquari said was why that and you agreed with him that you had to have some compensation as you go. And
Right. That was the premise of our argument.
but the way what
There was a
is
premise. Hold on. That was the premise of our argument. But your rebuttal was you assuming like he not paying them.
you
So
assume that
so
I didn't make any assumptions, man. I didn't make any assumptions. I asked you a question, and then I started speaking on a scenario.
right. He answered the question.
no, first of all, you started speaking on the scenario. I agree. But what you did was you changed my whole point
Oh,
because
you lost me down, bro. You lost me. How you change your point?
No, I mean, I
change.
asked
No,
you.
listen to what I'm saying. I said the only point that I made was this. I said he was trying to get his, and it was mostly had to do with passing things down because that was it. Because I did give you the mom and pop situation because
Yeah.
that was the majority of it. And what I said was what made me think about this was with the rental company. You understand what I'm saying to you? And what the conversation I had with this man, and he had nothing to do with what it was. He said he was having a hard time getting his children to come in because of the customer service. That's exactly what I said.
Oh,
That's why I said you changed it.
no, you did say that. I mean, you emphasized the customer service, but we talking. I thought you were talking about something else. I stand corrected.
Okay, man. Yeah, I didn't change it. I just added. I just put in the add on. That's all I did. I didn't change it.
All right. Hey Nikki, quit running our stuff, man. What do you mean y'all need to move on?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
She just keeping her word. She said she was gonna be involved, so she involved.
Look, that was a good debate. I don't care what anybody said. Hell, if you was paying attention to this whole thing, it's all good conversation. But like I said,
Okay, man. Come on now.
you know what?
Come
This has been a beautiful time, folks. It's been a beautiful time, great conversations. Any last word for today?
on. Enjoy the conversation, fellas. I look forward to the next.
All right, man. It's good to see y'all, brothers, man. Good to hear y'all voices, man. To be honest with
I had a great time. I really did. No doubt about it. Malika, Nikki, Marcus, Tiffany, I thank y'all. Who else was in the chat? Y'all had great points, great interaction, really and truly, really truly, what I love the most is, you know, as I said, you can volunteer as little as much as possible. I love the fact that you folks gave us your view of things, and we was able to chop it up and do the things we needed to do. And because the goal is, and little mama, we ain't forget about you, but the goal is this great conversation, going back and forth, understanding, getting different views of everything that we need to get. Please do us a favor, go to our YouTube channel, like, uh, share, and subscribe to it. You know what I mean? If you have any comments, leave a comment on the YouTube channel, and I'm gonna make sure I get back to you. Under my name or beside my name, you see the Cash App logo, and it says Cash App Love. Basically, what it is whatever you feel. But if you don't feel like it, we still floating. But the thing about it is, I was I was uh, I was advised to put it there to show people that we're serious about this YouTube channel, about what we're trying to do. Okay, and I appreciate you all. 3 years strong with my brothers, having great conversation, doing the things we need to do, and being what we need to be. We're here every Friday. Later on in the month, we would probably be changing up a little bit just to fill things out, but we're going to be live nonetheless. This is Strong Perspective Podcast. We'll see y'all next Friday.
Peace.
us.
Peace.